Okay, good morning then, Year 9. We're going to do another video lesson today. Because you finished the test and we finished that topic yesterday, we're actually going to move on to the next topic today, which is ratio and proportion. Okay, so same rules as before. Make sure you've got your exercise book and a pen out in front of you. Take notes of the key points and make sure you're having a go and showing you're working out for the questions. Okay, so first of all, 4 question starter as usual. Some of them are to do with things that you would have seen previously on ratio, and there's also a little recap of indices. Okay, so give yourselves about 4 minutes, have a go at the questions either on a whiteboard or in your book, and then press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, excellent, well done for having a go at that. Let's have a little look at the answers then. So the first one, you were simplifying the ratio, so you just need to make sure that you divide both sides by the same amount. So think about what times tables they're in really. It's a bit like simplifying fractions. So in this case, what you can do is divide them both by 11 to leave you with a ratio of 3 to 11. Okay, just remember the numbers in a simplified ratio should be whole numbers. If it's simplified, just like when you've got fractions. Okay, so then the second one, angles in a triangle are in the ratio 1 to 1 to 4. What is the size of each angle? Okay, so this one is asking us to share into a ratio. So you need to use what you already know about angles in a triangle. So angles in a triangle add up to 180. So we're splitting 180 into the ratio 1, 1, 4. Okay, so if we add up the number of parts we've got all together, 1 add 1 add 4 makes 6. So 6 parts equals 180, which then means that 1 part must be 30. So 1 part, so this one's going to be 30, this one's going to be 30, and then to get this angle, we just need to times it by 4. Okay, so 30 times 4 is 120. Okay, so you should end up with an angle of 30 degrees, 30 degrees, and 120 degrees. Okay, you can just check that they add up to 180. Okay, it then says what type of triangle is it. So thinking about this, we've got 2 angles that are the same and then one angle that's different, which means it must be an isosceles triangle. Okay, so well done if you remembered that. So it was combining your knowledge of ratio and angles and triangles. Okay, the next one then, same kind of thing, we're still sharing a ratio, but this time we're actually given one of the amounts. Now just check which way round the ratio is. Okay, so it says Chris and Molly win money in a competition. They shared the money in the ratio 2 to 3. So that means that Chris gets 2 parts and Molly gets 3 parts of the money. It then says that Molly receives £240, so how much does Chris receive? Okay, so we know that Molly got £240 and that was 3 parts of the ratio. So if 3 parts is 240, we can just divide by 3, so 1 part must be 80. Okay, Chris got 2 parts of that, so he got 2 times 80, so he got 160. It could also ask you to work out the total amount, in which case you just need to add the 240 to the 160 to get £400. Okay, well done if you got that right. So you're just thinking about how many parts and what number that's equivalent to. You always want to work out 1 part and then how much money they actually got. Okay, and then the last one was a bit of a recap of indices. So there's a lot of indices in that test, so it's just to keep you practicing and see if you can remember. So I'll deal with the fraction first. So you're doing the 4th root of 81, which would be 3. Then you are cubing it, which would be 27. And then you are flipping, you're doing the reciprocal because it's a negative, so you should get an answer of 1 over 27. Okay, well done if you got that. Okay, so today then, I said we're starting ratio. So we're going to start by looking at ratio problems that involve when you are given a difference in amounts. Okay, so we already looked at when you're given one amount or sharing into a ratio, which you looked at previously in year 8. But we're going to focus today on when you are given a difference between the amounts. Okay, so just make sure you've got the date, title, and learning objective written in your books, please, guys. Then press play when you're ready to move on. Okay, so seeing as we started a new topic, just want to explain where you would use this kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to look at ratio and proportion, which kind of go hand in hand with each other. You do see them more in real life than you think. So ratio and proportion links into things like exchange rates or things like conversions. So if you're converting different measurements, or you're exchanging some currency to go on holiday, those kinds of things are using ratio and proportion in order to do those conversions. You've also got things like building work, so construction, or also things like making paint. So common examples of ratio are that using the right amounts to mix cement to make concrete, and also things like mixing two different colours of paint to make a different colour of paint in ratio. So it links quite a lot into real life, more than you probably notice. Also things like recipes as well. Okay, so we're going to have a look at an example. What I would like you to do is jot down the key points from this example and the working out in your book, just so that you've got it there to help you when you have a go at some. Okay, so I am going to show this one by bar modelling, so I'm going to draw some boxes just to help you picture it. It is up to you whether you want to actually draw the boxes or just do the numerical working out. Okay, so it says if Ant and Dec split some money in the ratio 5-2, and Ant gets £60 more, work out how much Dec gets. Okay, so we've looked previously at sharing an amount into a ratio, or working it out when you're given one amount. This one's slightly different because you've got the difference in amount. So we know that Ant gets £60 more than Dec. Okay, so the first thing we need to think about is how many parts or boxes each person gets. So sometimes it helps to draw it out. It's completely up to you whether you do that. So I'm just going to draw that Dec gets 2 boxes and Ant gets 5 boxes. Okay, he gets 5 parts of that ratio. Okay, then it tells us that Ant gets £60 more. Now if we look at that diagram, we know that Ant got 5 parts and Dec got 2 parts. So if we look at how much more he actually got 3 parts more than Dec. So that 3 parts more that he's got here, the extra 3 parts, must be equivalent to the £60. Okay, so the 3 parts there equals £60. If 3 parts is £60, then that means that each part must be 20, because we can just divide through by 3. Okay, then we can just put the £20 back in. Okay, which means that Ant would get 5 lots of £20, so he gets £100, and Dec gets 2 lots of the £20, so he gets £40. So the actual answer to the question was that Dec gets £40. Okay, so even if you don't write down the boxes, I would at least write down that Ant gets 3 parts more. 3 parts equals £60, so 1 part equals 20, so then Dec gets 2 times 20, which is 40. Okay, just make sure that you are showing some working out to back up your answer. Okay, we're going to have a look at another example then. So this time it says if Tom and Jerry split some money in the ratio 7-5, and Jerry gets £18 less, work out how much they split altogether. Okay, so first thing to think about is the fact that Tom got 7 parts and Jerry got 5 parts. Okay, so if it says Jerry got £18 less, well, if we think about how many parts they got, he got 2 parts or 2 boxes left, okay, which must be equivalent to that £18 that he got less. So 2 parts or 2 boxes equals £18. Okay, so if 2 parts equal £18, then you should notice, well, then 1 part is just going to equal 9. Okay, then we can work out how much they both got. Okay, so Tom got 7 lots of 9, okay, which would be 63, and Jerry got 5 lots of 9, which would be 45. It wanted to know how much they had altogether between them. Okay, so it was 63 at 45, so that's going to give us a total of 108. Okay, so even if you don't write down the boxes, make sure that you know that there was a difference of 2 parts or 2 boxes, okay, which equals 18. So then 1 part is 9, and then altogether there are actually 12 boxes or 12 parts, which makes 108. Okay, so thinking about what we've just discussed, what I would like you guys to do now is just have a go at this question, just to put that into practice, see if you can figure it out, and then press play when you're ready to look at the answer. Okay, well done for giving that a go. Let's have a little look and see if you're right then. So I'm going to go through the working out. I'm not going to draw the boxes this time, but you should hopefully still be able to follow it. Okay, so because it says John and Nick share some money in the ratio 5-2, and John gets £150 more than Nick. Okay, so first thing we need to think about is the difference in the amount they get. So if I had drawn it out, this one would be 5 boxes for John and 2 for Nick. So they've got a difference between them of 3 parts or 3 boxes. Okay, so if those 3 parts must equal the difference, so 3 parts equals 150, which then means that 1 part must be 50. Okay, so then we need to think about how much there is altogether. Well, if there's 5 parts and 2 parts, that makes 7 parts altogether. So it's 7 lots of 50, so it's £350. Okay, so you should have got that they shared altogether £350. Okay, well done if you got that. Okay, what we're going to do now is have a go at some questions. So you can see there are about 12 questions there on the board. I'm going to leave this up on the board, and I want you guys now by yourself in your book to have a go at these questions. So jot down the key points. It's up to you whether you do a diagram. Make sure you show some working and get some answers. Okay, spend about 10 minutes or so on this, and then press play when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, well done for having a go at that. Hopefully you managed to get quite a few of those questions done. Let's have a little look at the answers then. Okay, so first one, you should have got Tom got £33 and Tyler was £42. Okay, just remember the ratio always relates to the order the names are written in. So then Chloe and Chris was £16 to £104. And then the next one, 56 and 21, 6 and 21, and so on. Okay, so can you just check the questions for the ones you did? Okay, just see if you got those right. Okay, excellent. Okay, well done, especially if you got all your questions right. If you didn't get them all right, just have a look back in your work and see if you can figure out where you went wrong. Okay, make sure you did work out the amounts for the right people in the right order. Okay, so what I would like to do now is have a go at this question. Okay, so the first bit's come up, just ignore that. Okay, so it says at a football game, so this is taken from an exam. At a football game, the number of men to the number of women to the number of children is 13 to 5 to 7. There are 4,152 more men than women. Work out the number of children at the game. Okay, so you've got a few steps there. Okay, it's 3-mark questions, so that would suggest about 3 minutes. Okay, so have a go at this, see if you can get to an answer. Press play when you're ready to check. Okay, well done then. So let's have a little look and see if we got that right. Now, I did accidentally give the first bit of the answer away, so you should have noticed because we've got 13 parts for the men and 5 parts for the women. There was actually a difference there of 8 parts. Okay, so 8 parts was equivalent to 4,152. So then what you need to do was work out 1 part by dividing by 8. Now really you should be able to do that without a calculator, so just use something like the bus stop method. You should get that 1 part equals 519. Okay, so then if it's asking for us to work out the number of children at the game, well that's 7 parts because it's that number on the end there if we think about the order it's written. So you need to do 7 times 519. Again, you should be able to do this without a calculator. You should get an answer of 3,633. Okay, so well done if you got that correct. Okay, another exam question then. So this time, just be aware this is when you're given one value. Okay, so I want you to read it through. You can work with the person next to you, see if you can figure this out. Okay, press play when you're ready to look at the answer. Okay, let's have a little look at the answer then. So we know that in a show, in a school show, we've got girls and boys in a ratio 1-to-1. Girls who sing to girls who do not sing is 1-to-2. Okay, so it tells us 8 girls sing in the show. So if we think about this ratio, first of all, if 8 girls sing in the show, that's 1 part. So the number of girls that do not sing in the show should be 2 lots of 8, so it's 16. Okay, so this should be 16 and this one 8, which means in total, the girls, there's going to be 24 of them. Okay, so then if there's 24 girls, well, there's the same number of boys and girls, so 24 and 24 is 48. Okay, so well done if you got that. Okay, that does bring us to the end of the lesson. Can you please make sure you have highlighted or initialed your title based on how you got on today, okay? And then we'll carry on with some ratios tomorrow.